What is up, wrestling fans? Kayfabe Chronicles with your host, JP. It's Sunday night, it's 8 p.m. Central Time, and it is time for our weekly live stream. Originally, I was going to review the greatest Royal Rumble, but quick change of plans, and I believe it is for the better because I really did not enjoy the greatest Royal Rumble. I'll talk about that at another time, but yeah, let's just get this week's episode going right after these messages. Hello, and welcome to the live stream. This is Kayfabe Chronicles, and I am JP. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for our weekly live stream. Now, I know what you're thinking, JP, the Jets are playing hockey right now. Why are you doing your live stream? I'm doing it because the fans. I know you guys are expecting me to talk about crazy stuff every single week, plus it's in between periods. Go Jets, go. Go Jets, go. All right. So yeah, like I said originally we were going to do a live stream in regards to the greatest Royal Rumble. I checked it out. It wasn't the best. It was a generic, overhyped house show, in my opinion. But I decided to change my concept this week, just in regards to some things that kind of came up. So I'm just gonna get right into it. So a couple weeks ago, right around the time of the Superstar Shakeup, I posted a tweet essentially. So, like it says, I've said it a million times with the Raw Tag Team titles in limbo. This was during the period where the Tag Team titles were undetermined. You know, they were still floating out there after Braun Strowman and Nicholas coughed up their belts. But yeah, so I flat out said move all the Tag Team titles to SmackDown Live and all the women to Raw, or vice versa. Tired of the same matches and feuds. On each show, spice up and make it stretched out and, not make it all saturated. And as you can see, I follow Dakota Kai on Twitter. She's my girl. Love her. Love everything about her. So yeah, pretty much I posted that, and my good buddy FlairCountry, guys haven't checked him out, awesome content creator. Check out his links to his channel down below in the description, also his Twitter account. Make sure you check him out. Awesome. He directly messaged me and said, hey, you know what? I've been thinking kind of the same thing for a while. And then today, actually yesterday, he posted a video in regards to the same concept, and he asked if I could kind of jump on board with response. So here is my response. Yeah, we both feel very strongly about this concept, and I'm going to talk about it. So yeah. But yeah, if this is your guys' first time here, stick around for a little while. Participate in the live chat to the left-hand side of the screen. Like, share, and subscribe. And also, remember, check out our Facebook page and Twitter account right up above. So yeah, I'm going to check out the chat room. And I see my good buddy Gibosh is online as always. How you doing, my friend? How are you doing, my friend? I'm not even a hockey or Jets fan, but this game is happening right now is BS. It is pretty crazy, yeah. That cross check with Subban was a little out there. I just find it funny that he's like, I'm a big man, then as soon as he gets hit back, he just kind of snivels away. But yeah, got the game kind of running right now, so no spoilers. No spoilers if this goes over by the time the game starts again. Oh, so yeah, we are going to jump right into the concept. So I'm going to pretty much start off with the ladies division. Um, I'm gonna stick around. Stick around. Okay. So my main concept in regards to this entire thing, is I've said it since day one, is that the ladies division needs to be on one show, and the tag division needs to be on the other show. You could both have them on the same show, but then, the other show wouldn't get it. The other show would not get it. Main reason I feel that this is such an important thing is right now the tag division is in shambles. The ladies division is in shambles. Like the ladies division, both rosters have great competitors. Like, don't get me wrong, like Bayley's great, Sasha Banks is great. Probably clipped some audio there. Charlotte's great, Becky Lynch is great. It's all good stuff. But the problem is since they're branched out onto the separate shows, it's the same matches over and over and over and over again. How many times did we see Sasha Banks take on Charlotte during Monday Night Raw? How many times have we seen Bayley take on Sasha Banks? How many times have we seen Becky Lynch consistently enhance the younger talent every week because she really doesn't have a feud? it kind of gets mundane. It kind of gets boring over and over again. How many times have we seen Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax feud? How many times have we seen Mickie James just kind of thrown in there? Plus, there's all these other women on the roster that don't get anything. Like Dana Brooke, you never really get to see anything from her, except Mickie James is kind of a throwaway. Absolution, they're kind of lost in the shuffle. The Riot Squad, what is their purpose? Like, there's just so many women on the show, but they're on two separate shows and they're only concentrating on individual feuds. I think that if you get all the women onto one show, you could pop in a couple different feuds and you can get all this crazy different stuff. You won't have to see the same championship match over and over and over and over again. Like one week the champion could fight somebody, the next week they could fight somebody different. Meanwhile, you got two other women going for something, and you got two other women going for something. You can have Absolution feuding with the Riot Squad. Like there's all these different possibilities. Plus, with the real overextensive NXT women's division, this gives them more of an opportunity. Even though they might not be put on the main roster, weekly you could have one of them kind of come in to have a match, and then send them back down, and vice versa, and so on and so on. Um, I just think that there's just so much talent in the women's division right now that having them all over the place, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm just really tired of seeing the same matches every single week, and it's derpy and it's not fun at all. Which also echoes, of course, into the tag team division. Pretty much the exact same thing. There's all these tag teams, but yet you don't see them. Like, you got all these great tag teams from NXT that made it up to the main roster that aren't doing anything, like the Revival, one of the best tag teams in the NXT. They're jobbers right now. The Ascension, the longest reigning NXT tag team champions, haven't won a freaking singles match since they've been on the main roster that I can think of. And right now, they're mostly just like a comedic feud on the show at all. It just really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I see my boy FlairCountry already plugged your channel, man. Already plugged your channel. I see. It's okay. I understand that you're late. I understand that you are late. Life gets in there, but as punishment, go Jets, go, go Jets, go. Uh, so echoing back on the tag team division, by having them on the two different shows, we see the exact same feud over and over again. Like on Monday Night Raw recently, when the Bar had the tag team titles, it was essentially the Bar every single week fighting the exact same stuff. And then they even brought it in, well, we don't have any more challengers. Well, of course they didn't have any more challengers because they had beaten everybody on Monday Night Raw. So what did they end up doing? They fought Braun Strowman and a random child from the crowd because they had no other thing to give the Bar during WrestleMania. And so now, of course, the Bar has moved over to SmackDown, so they're going to feud with all that stuff. But, that's it. Like, you have the Raw Tag Team Championship defended at WrestleMania against a child. Because you had nothing else. Because you ran out of ideas. Which is why the tag team division all needs to be on one show. Just so many great tag teams I can name over the past little while. Either job or they've broken up. American Alpha, phenomenal. What do? They split them up. Uh, you know, like there's something about Vince McMahon and tag teams. I just don't think he likes tag teams. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the very first tournament they had, wasn't even won by an existing tag team. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, Finn Balor and I think it was Samoa Joe won, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but it wasn't even an existing tag team. Like, NXT has a lot of great tag teams going on right now, but even that division's kind of not overly good, because what they do is they take the good tag teams from NXT, move them up to the main roster, and then they don't do anything because Vince McMahon doesn't like anything that NXT has to offer, in my opinion. But definitely, I fully agree with that. Like, all the tag teams need to just be on one show. Um, SmackDown right now, you only have really three tag teams in the main title picture. You have the New Day, you have the Bludgeon Brothers, and you have the Usos. How many times are we going to see these three teams intertwine with one another? Like, all the other tag teams that were on SmackDown, like Heath Slater and Rhino, got moved to Raw. American Alpha separated; they're technically both on Raw. I'm just trying to think what other some of the teams that got moved to the Ascension on Raw, Breezango on Raw. it's not creating any individual storylines. And then what do? Now they move the bar over to SmackDown. So why? So I can see the bar face the Usos, the Bludgeons, and the New Day, and then they win the tag team titles. It's going to be the same repetitive stuff over and over and over again, and it just gets really drained out and really tiring. I'm going to jump back over into the chat room. Bully Ray even said that Vince needs to put stock in tags. I fully agree. I've been a fan of tag team wrestling ever since I was a kid. I don't know if you guys know, my all-time favorite wrestler is the $1 Million Man. I know it's weird. I just really liked his character work, but it's funny because not a lot of people really remember the $1 Million Man's single run unless you remember the entire storyline when he tried to buy the WWF title. A lot of people remember the $1 Million Man when he teamed up with Erwin R. Shyster IRS, and they were the tag team champions. But back then, you had tons of great tag teams. You had Money Incorporated. You had the Bushwhackers. You had Natural Disasters. You had the Beverly Brothers. You had the Steiner Brothers. Like just all these great tag teams during that period of time. And even though it didn't seem like a lot, it was fresh. It was different every single week. Legion of Doom. And then during this era that my buddy FlairCountry just talked about, you had the Hardy Boys, you had Edge and Christian, you had the Dudley Boys. It was just a period of time where people really were invested in tag teams. Said I love the New Day, I love the Usos, I love when they fight each other, but I can only see that match so many times before it gets boring and stale. And unfortunately, that's what's really happening with the tag divisions. All they essentially did with the tag team divisions is they took the Raw tag teams and moved them to SmackDown, and they took the SmackDown tag teams and they moved them to Raw. Wow, that's great. So we can see the same matches as we did before, but only on the other show now. I would love to see, American Alpha get back together, and I would love to see them fight the Usos, or I would love to see, uh, I would love to see, Breezango take on, take on the bar, stuff like that. Just keep it fresh. The Good Brothers, Bullet Club, all these other things. Just get the tag teams all together. I'm just gonna keep echoing and echoing myself over and over again until I drill it into your heads. Back to the chat room. One show could make sure that the same teams wouldn't get jobbed out. Exactly. Like, by having more variety in the shows, you wouldn't have them being jobbed out. Like I said, it breaks my heart so much that the Ascension and the Revival job out every single week. It just like single tier, just single tier, because the Revival is so good and the Ascension is so good. I do like that Authors of Pain have moved up to the main roster. I think that's really good, but what kind of feuds are they going to be involved in is another thing. But NXT has a lot of great tag teams currently right now. You got the Street Profits, super fun to watch. You got Heavy Machinery, so good. Rig Moss, Tino Sabatelli, so good. Mustache Mountain, just all these great up and coming teams that I really fear that when they do get moved to the main roster, it's just gonna be like. But it is kind of funny though, because right now in NXT though, even though they do got all these tag teams, it essentially was the same two teams fighting over and over again. It was Red Dragon Undisputed Era against Authors of Pain, but now that the Authors of Pain have moved over to the main roster, they need somebody right now. Alright, I see we got some more action back in the chat room. Let's check this bad boy out. What's your take on tag team tournament close to SummerSlam? Winning teams can finish the tournament at SummerSlam. It all depends, like I said, if they're going to co-brand it, because with the new pay-per-views schedule, they're all going to be co-branded now. There's going to be no more SmackDown pay-per-views, no more Raw pay-per-views. If they were to get all the teams together in a tournament, I'd be all for that. I would love to see that. Like I said, I want to see stuff that I haven't seen before. I want to see the SmackDown guys take on the Raw guys, spice it up a little bit, and said even throw some of the NXT guys up in there. One thing I do really like is that, yeah, the NXT guys are making kind of things like the Greatest Royal Rumble. A couple, 2 days ago, we had a couple NXT guys in the match. Granted, they weren't in there for that long, except for Tucker Knight, my boy, one half of Heavy Machinery. Yeah, he held his own in there. He held his own. But with all the discussions for the unified titles, I mean, if they were to do that, I like that. I'm fully for that. And even with the women's division, yeah. If they were to actually unify them and put them all onto the one brand, I'd be 100% for that. Um, but then again, the only issue that lies here, though, is the fact that you have a tag team champions on each brand. Um, what they could do, what they did a couple years ago, remember the whole WCW invasion angle where they unified it, where the WWE tag team champions fought the WCW tag team champions, and then they unified the titles. It's tied up. Spoiler alert, Gibosh. Spoiler alert. Like what did I tell you? Nah, it's all good. Don't worry. I actually have it playing. Uh, like I don't have the sound going, but I'm kind of watching it on the corner of my eyes right now. Go Jets, go! Go Jets, go! Um, did they score? I'm a little behind on it right now. It's a little update. But like to have like a tournament where they get the unified title would work, or they have, where they were just to fight and unify it too. That could work as well. I'm gonna kind of echo on something a little bit different here right now. I'm gonna kind of keep it on the tag team title thing, but I'm also going to once again talk about the women's thing. So there has been a rumor going around for a little while that they're gonna introduce a women's tag team championship. So my boy FlairCountry talked about it in his video. Um, but yeah, you know what, this does hold a lot of interest to me because there is a lot of female cliques that are going right now. Like you have Absolution, you got the Riot Squad. Technically, they are a three-piece, but you could freebird rule that. Becky Lynch and Charlotte are technically like really good friends in real life. You got my girl Dakota Kai and Nixon Newell in NXT as Fly Kicks. That'd be really interesting, because they're really pushing a lot of that right now. Does it hold water? Yes. If the women are all on one show, by all means, give the women that chance to go for that kind of secondary title. Because, like you'll have your women's main title. I don't see them getting like a mid card title, like an Intercontinental Women's Championship. I don't think that would really work. But women's tag team, that would be something actually really interesting to see because it would give you something different. Like you get to see some interesting pair-ups, which isn't something that you would see when they're constantly fighting individually. Like I've seen many good tag teams get paired up before in the past. The Bar is a prime example. Like Cesaro and Sheamus were bitter enemies with each other, but then they combined together and they formed a great tag team, a really good tag team. Um, so yeah, I do believe that the women's tag team division is something that could hold water. Uh, I think it's too early right now to just kind of throw it in there, but have a little bit more women's tag team matches. I see that they are doing that every single week. They've been kind of throwing in women's tag team matches. I'm thinking they're testing the waters with this. I think they're just trying to see if people are going to hold interest to it, and I believe that they are. Like a lot of the women's tag team matches have been absolutely phenomenal so far from what I've seen. When it's tag teams, so when you get like these 3-on-3s or 4-on-4s or these 6-pack challenges and all that crap, it's a little weird. But I do like the concept of a women's tag division, and I do think it could work well if booked correctly. All right, let's go back on. Exactly. Yeah, women's tag team will definitely keep the women that are not involved in the main title picture. Yeah, fully agree on that. Like I said, because if you have your women's title, you're just going to have those people kind of fighting. So you get the other women in the division something else to do. And then if the tag team titles work, maybe they could bring in a secondary title, like like the Intercontinental title or the North American title or something like that, to give the women something else to achieve for. But yeah, I would definitely be interested in seeing a women's tag team division. But yeah, only if it's on one show though. I don't want to see SmackDown women's title, Raw women's title, because there's just not enough people uh, to make it work right now. So yeah, So long story short, yeah, just put them all together. Just have women all on one show, have the tag team things all on one show, and we can just go from there. I'm just tired of seeing the same feuds over and over again with the women. Like, don't get me wrong, I love women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is some of my favorite stuff. You guys who watch my channel know that I absolutely love the women's division. I love the women's revolution. I love everything about women's wrestling. They're so talented in the ring. They tell great stories and everything. And I love tag team wrestling. And, it just hurts me to see the same thing over and over and over again. But yeah, I am going to cut this live stream a little bit shorter this week because, I gotta watch my boys. I like to thank my buddy FlairCountry so much for kind of sharing the same concept in with me. Like I said, if you guys haven't heard him, he's in the chat room right now, fully supporting you. But yeah, check out his channel and his comments all in my videos. I watch his videos religiously. He watches my videos. But yeah, check out his Twitter account and his channel down below. I'll throw a link to this on his page. I'm also going to throw a link to the video that I'm kind of responding to also on this page as well. But yeah, it's all in my mindset that they really need to spice up the ladies division and spice up the tag team division for sure. But yeah, like I said, if this is your guys' first time to the channel, hey, thank you guys so much for checking out the live stream. Like I said, we do a live stream every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Time, except for pay-per-views. Obviously, I'll always talk about the pay-per-view after. And also, like, share, and subscribe. Share it to all your friends. Remember, check out our Facebook page and our live streams every week, 8 p.m. Central. I love repeating myself. Sorry, I'm just really hyper. I worked all day, got home, made some supper, had a big ass chicken salad. It was delicious. I got some wife and kid time in, and now we're watching hockey because we're Canadian, and that's what we do. It's beautiful. Let's take one more last look to that chat room. Thank you for entertaining the ideas, and good luck on the game. It's tough, man. Nashville is a strong team. This game is just like, Hansi. They're the #1 team in the league this year for a reason. So, yes, thank you guys so much for once again partaking in our show. I love all you guys from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me to do this for you guys every week. I believe Backlash is next week. I'm pretty sure. So, unless I'm wrong. But yeah, so next week's live stream will be after the Backlash pay-per-view. And of course, I will have my Backlash predictions sometime this week. So yeah, as always, this is JP from Kayfabe Chronicles. And I will see you guys next time.